Hey guys, it's Zero again, just doing another video. Another Mega Man related one. And don't worry, this one's not going to be as long as the last one, I promise. But I just wanted to talk about Capcom's, well, it's not Capcom, it's apparently an artist who was working on Mega Man Online, or Rockman Online, released artwork from the game the other day. And the reason he did that is because the game is apparently canceled. Or, as far as we know, the team is at least broken up. There's no official word yet from Capcom on either side that I can find. The Capcom community site is down right now, which might be a good thing because they might be redesigning the site, which is a step in the right direction. But my point is that I don't have official confirmation from a North American source, and I don't read Japanese, so I can only trust what crude translations say. I sort of anticipated this to an extent. I mean, if you saw my my last video, and if you haven't, I'll put a link in the description. And I don't blame you if you don't watch it because it's 45 minutes long and I ramble, so whatever. But I figured this would probably happen. Like, I'm not surprised at all that the game's potentially canceled. And all I really have to say is that the big three Mega Man games that were announced what seemed so long ago are now all canceled. Mega Man Universe, Mega Man Legends 3, and Mega Man Online. And what have we gotten in the last couple years? Ports and a terrible iOS remake of a great game, Mega Man X, and an announcement for another iOS game, a social media RPG, again for the iOS, a Mega Man iOS game, which is going to be a social media RPG. Okay. Capcom needs some sort of restructuring plan. All of their franchises are in peril right now. Even Resident Evil, which was supposed to be one of their most profitable franchises, is really suffering. Operation Raccoon City didn't help, and a lot of people are not impressed with RE6. I played the RE6 demo when I was in Connecticut for Kineticon at my buddy Unreal's house, and I was not that impressed with it. The game looks okay, but I'm not very good at Resident Evil, and I didn't see a point in me getting into that. I do, however, plan to play Resident Evil 2 at some point because I have it for Dreamcast. And Resident Evil 4 because I got that as a Christmas present, and I should probably play that for the Wii. But the point I'm trying to make here is that they've been taking a lot of risks lately. Either risks or making stupid decisions. That's up for you. That's up for you guys to interpret. But I'm starting to see it now as risks. And yet the only franchise they're not willing to take a risk on is Mega Man. That makes no sense to me. Mega Man is, next to Street Fighter, it's their most recognizable franchise. Sure, he's not, you could argue that he's not very, he doesn't have as big as a presence today as he did then, but a lot of gamers still identify with that franchise. Like, even the just an example for most recent, the handheld games like the Battle Network, Zero Series, Star Force, ZX. Those have really big fan bases of their own, and that's going aside from all the classic series like the original series, the X series, and the Legend series. Those are the those are the older generation Mega Mans, and the ones that I mentioned for handhelds, those are the newer generation Mega Mans. So just based on name alone, you would be able to sell games. And I'll even give Capcom a freebie, and anyway a freebie. Mega Man 9 and 10 sold fairly well. In fact, I think they were the #1 downloaded games when they came out for like I don't know how long. I don't know numbers. But just a thought, guys. Mega Man X9. Everybody was talking about it when Mega Man 9 came out. And a lot of people say, well, isn't that series dried up? Well, it would work because after Mega Man X5, the story got fucked. Keiji Inafune, the guy who created Mega Man, I probably don't need to say this, but anyways, his initial plan was to have the series end at X5, so he could work on the Mega Man Zero series. Capcom, though, had other plans, and because X5 was so popular, they made it X6 without telling him. So he's like, well, shit, now I gotta restructure everything. But after X6, the storylines don't match up with anything else in the X series, so X9 is an opportunity for you guys to fix things with the story and make it go somewhere. Even if you don't think the series is worth making another game for, at least if you took a chance with it and made it the last game in the series and just stated this is the last X game in the X series, then you can just go out, you can just do what you want right there. Just make it go out with a bang. And again, you know how Mega Man 9 and 10 were using older, like NES graphic engines, but being retooled for current gen? That doesn't look like it's too difficult to do. It doesn't sound like it's too difficult to do, and I'm sure those games didn't have very high budgets. That's the same process would be for an X9 game. You could use the SNES, the Super Nintendo engine, or the PlayStation engine, the 32-bit one, which I would prefer, but I know a lot of fans liked Mega Man X originally in 16-bit. I'm fine with either, but I prefer 32-bit, like the PlayStation style. That's not going to take a lot of effort and work, and that's not going to take as much effort, time, money, and work as it would be to make a AAA title or a main console title. So, get the team who worked on the Mega Man 9 and 10 and give them X and see what they do with it. And then sell it for, I mean, it'll be a download game. You could, Mega Man's 9 and 10 I think were $10, because it'll have better graphics, probably more features, DLC, Capcom, you love DLC, and maybe throw in some online multiplayer somehow. You could sell it for $20, $25 on the online marketplace, and people will spend that on the game. If it has the content that's there. I mean, if it doesn't have the content, then people aren't going to spend that. But you have a potential to make a decent amount of money off of that franchise, and you're just not doing anything with it. Another thing I want to get at is, I've talked about Legends 3. You guys know this. I probably shouldn't have to say anything, but another idea I have, just bear with me, another idea I have, retool what you have done for Legends 3 for, say, PlayStation 3 instead of 3DS. Retool it, finish it, sell the game for $40 instead of $60. Because the reasons I think this is worth two things. One, people are more inclined to buy a console game than a handheld game, because consoles are state-of-the-art. I mean, you don't have to spruce up the graphics that much. I mean, look at Monster Hunter. Just as an example, Monster Hunter Portable 3rd HD. Not the best looking PlayStation 3 game, but it still looks pretty damn good, even if the graphics are a little older. Again, graphics are a big selling point, but as if your game works, they don't matter. But the second reason I think it would work is people will be Mega Man's name is ingrained. Like I said before, is ingrained within gamers' memories. If you sell a new Mega Man game, it doesn't matter if it's the older ones. If you sell Mega Man Legends 3, it doesn't matter if it's the older ones or who grew up on the Classic X Legends series, or the newer ones who grew up on the handheld game series. They're going to see the name Mega Man, and they're going to see the price, $40, and be like, this might be a worthwhile investment. This might be a good game. And yeah, you're going to lose $20 off of every... you're not going to get... that's going to be $20 less that you're not going to get off of every sale, but you'll be making much more money because more people will be inclined to buy the game. And for God's sakes, this time, if you're going to announce a game, greenlight it before you announce it to everybody, because... why get everyone's hopes up just to shoot it down? That doesn't make any sense. Spending all that time and money promoting it just to cancel it. That doesn't make any sense. And you guys need the money. I get that. You guys need the money. You did not have a good 2011. Your 2012 isn't looking much better. Considering you guys are taking risks on new franchises such as Dragon's Dogma, which didn't sell apparently as well as I thought it did. But you're not willing to give a franchise that has a backing and take a risk on that. Because you'll still make a decent amount of money off of that. Again, I'm not an economist. I'm not a businessman. I'm not any of that. I'm just using common sense here. And if somebody who is an economist or, you know, is a businessman or knows something about business like that can correct me or say if my ideas are good, at least on a basic level. If the average Joe like myself can think of this, why is this so hard for a multi-million or multi-billion, I'm not sure, but anyways, a rich ass game developing company to figure out? I don't get it. Like, do they not look at the people's reactions to stuff? Do they not understand any of that? I thought they were, because 9 and 10 came out. Mega Man's 9 and 10. But it seems they just went back to not understanding anymore. I don't get it. So, anyways, I asked a question in my last video, asking Capcom, what is Mega Man worth to you? And I think I answered my own question with... I think this answers its own question, this cancellation, saying not much. Because that's all that's been done. Not much with Mega Man. On his 25th anniversary, no less. So, here's a new question. Capcom, is Mega Man only worth iOS games and ports to you now? And let me add a statement to this, because that's not what the fan base wants. That's not what we want. And you're not going to make enough money based on that. And I'm just going to talk about another thing here. I'm going to give Crossover some time to cook. I will not be purchasing an iOS device just to play it. Because first of all, okay, let me just get this out of the way. I think the iPad and the iPhone, great devices. I didn't initially like the iPad, but it's grown on me. I don't like how its interaction with a PC works. Mainly because of iTunes. And I know iTunes works independently on the devices themselves, but until it's made so that I don't have to use iTunes on my PC to transfer music or stuff to my iOS device, I'm not getting one. If I need to install iTunes on my computer to connect, I'm not getting one. And it's not because like it's like, oh, I have to install more software, herp de derp. No, it's because iTunes is a broken program. For some of the backdraws it has, for somebody like me who upgrades my computer or at least reinstalls Windows every year, that's a huge friggin' flaw. Like, just an example, my brother has an iPod Video or an iPod Video Classic, whatever, and he he wanted Windows 7 installed on his computer, so I did it for him because I'm a computer engineer, tech guy, I can do that. And the first thing I asked was, okay, did you back up everything in iTunes? And he said yes. We checked, he did have everything backed up, great. I installed Windows 7, and he installed iTunes again, and put in his backups, plugged his iPod into his computer to add more music. All his music was erased. See, iTunes has this failsafe where if you plug your iPod or your iOS device, I'm assuming iOS devices count in this, into another computer, or a computer which the version of iTunes isn't the same as the one that was registered with the iPod, it resets the iPod, erases all the music, and says, okay, this is your new ID. That's what I want to avoid. I don't want to, even if doing the backup procedures, which I understand have gotten much better, even if I do that, I don't want the potential of me losing all my information on my device every time I go to reinstall Windows on my computer. If this, by all means, if this gets fixed, if this gets completely fixed, I will reconsider using iTunes and getting an iOS device. But at this time being, that's a huge flaw in iTunes, and I understand why it's there. It's a failsafe in case somebody's stealing music or trying to get free music from their buddies. It's a failsafe. But it's not a good failsafe. It's a very, very flawed one, especially when you have to consider people who are reinstalling Windows every year so their computer runs at best capacity every year. As well as, I'm not as fond of the games that are on iOS. The only reason I would get an iOS device is for a music device that can maybe play games. I thought about getting an iPhone this year, but I don't really want one because I can't use it for anything. If anything, I can use an Android for a lot more. The point is, though, at some point I will play Megaman Crossover. I just won't be owning it because I won't be owning a device to play it on. And that's the biggest problem here. Yeah, iPhones are really popular, and you can find a lot of people who have them, and iPads, and iPod Touches, and all that crap. But they're multimedia devices, not gaming devices. You can put games on them, and technically it is a gaming platform, but it's not a gaming device. There's a reason why Mega Man X on it doesn't play very well. I don't have high hopes for Mega Man Crossover, and I probably won't be buying it because I won't have anything to play it on. That's really all I wanted to say, is that something has to be done. Something has to be done, or this franchise is done. And I don't want to see it go, because, again, it's my favorite gaming franchise of all time. He's been in over 100 games. Over 100. And so far, that means nothing to Capcom. Because I remember a time when Capcom was Mega Man. They were Mega Man. And now it just seems to be like Mega Man, or Capcom, is all about risk-taking. With everything but Mega Man. You know what, let me rephrase that. Capcom is everything but Mega Man. That has to change. Not just that franchise, but all your franchises have to change, and they have to go in a route that's going to be worthwhile. I'm sure many people would like a Devil May Cry 5 over what you're giving them. I'm sure a lot of people would prefer a retooled Resident Evil 6 than what you're giving them. I'm sure a lot of people would prefer a new Mega Man game over a new Mega Man game, or a new uh, a new Phoenix Wright game to come overseas, or a new, what was I gonna say? A new Dead Rising, or a new of any other thing, any other franchise come over here over Dragon's Dogma, having a new franchise like Dragon's Dogma, having a sequel to Lost Planet, or having another version of Street Fighter 4 and another version of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Or another version of Street Fighter vs. Tekken. That's it. Zero out.